Yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me make sure my volume is up. Um, I hope that everybody is having a good morning. Our latest live, and if you hadn't, please go watch it. Everybody, we are streaming live here on out, 7:30 p.m. every Friday, unless otherwise specified. Y'all go check out the studio. We be playing music. We got production staff, facility. We have a team. Your donations, thank you. Thank you for things like that because what it does is it helps us to be able to grow the channel and extend our tentacles and to get into places and in the hearts of people in the way that we want to with great production. So we're very thankful for everybody that is a part of the show, everybody that supports the show, and we ask that you continue to support the show, and you can do that in the comments. Typically, you might see my moderators come in and put the Cash App in the comments or they'll pin it, but you can definitely go into the description and find it. Of course, y'all, when y'all supporting the show, that's how we're able to not only just grow our production, but also we want to extend to guests. We want to pay staff. Um, this is an independent channel, independent network, so we need you, the viewer, to support us. If you like the content that we're sharing, if you like what we're doing with this message, because we're not here to we're not here to be famous. We're here to put out a message. We're here to put out a message that we feel like the world needs to know. We need a team for that too. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Y'all already know y'all got to put 50K in that chat. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Boy Drew the Charm God, host of the Charm Hour. I am king of controversial and uncomfortable conversations. That's what we're always having here. These lives live up. They live here. So you can always chime in. If you don't get to catch these things live and participate, you can always see them when they come on. But I've been very thankful for everybody that has tuned into the show. Thank you for everybody who has liked, subscribed, and turned the channel up. And y'all got to remember to share. The most important thing that you can do for this channel, more than anything, besides liking, besides donating, which we've had that, and where we can actually grow our channel, the most important thing you can do is hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, because we want YouTube to recommend the channel. We want YouTube to recommend our channel and put it out to others so they can be a part of what we're trying to do here, which is spread a message to change the world. Ultimately, we're changing the world with our conversation that we have here. Um, Today's conversation is very impactful because I think that Black people need to understand exactly where we're going in the movement. Black people need to understand where we're headed based off of what civil rights has provided for us. And again, if you're just tuning in now, you know, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. starting, what we did it last Friday. So you can check out the last live. I'll share it every Friday at 7:30 p.m. We'll be doing this live. We won't guests, we won't call-ins, we won't all those type of things like that. So you guys can be a part of the show versus just being down here, you know what I'm saying, and and being in the chat and trolling. Okay, but everybody hit that like button that then came in. So that's just another announcement. But where has civil rights taken us? Where has civil rights taken us? Where has it positioned us? Hold on, man. I hate when trolls come in. I gotta get the trolls out of here. Hold on one second. Y'all don't come in trolling this morning. We got a good message. So if you just want to troll, go somewhere else. This ain't the place for you. Right here, we got a message. So we not paying attention. I don't have no mods in here right now, so it's hard when I'm looking down in the comments. But anyways, where are we going as a people with what the civil rights movement has provided for us? Where are we going? Where have we gone thus far with the civil rights movement? Where are Black people positioned in the country? That's what we're going to talk about, and how do we move forward? How do Black Americans move forward? What benefits did we reap from the civil rights era? Should we continue to say that we didn't receive anything and nothing has changed? Are we having a real look at it for the first time after we have come out of the Jim Crow era, after we've actually come out of the turbulent 60s? Are we paying attention and really looking at ourselves to say, hey, this is where we really are as a people? How do you really define where we are and where we're going? What are the major issues that we are having? What should the real continuation of the movement look like? What should we be doing as it pertains specifically to Black people? That's a question I intend to answer today and give some suggestions towards what we need to be doing. But I wonder, have we actually, as a people, sat back and really looked at and paid attention to what we are doing? Have we actually done that? Have we said to ourselves, where are we going in comparison to all the other communities? What is it going to take for us to thrive? Who is the real enemy? I looked at Dr. Umar and he said, just a clip where he was talking about us not being the worst enemy ourselves. We're not the worst enemy to ourselves. Look at the other oppression that we face. Like if we could do a comparison, contrast, whatever, who is our true enemy? And I'm thinking that he's going along the lines of pointing towards others, but I'm going back to us because we need to look at each other clearly under the microscope and be very transparent about what's going on in our community. We have to do this as Black people. We cannot move forward and talk about any other group and any other type. We cannot go towards any other group of people if we don't first look at ourselves and say, what exactly do we have going on in our community amongst our people? What issues do we need to address? Those must first be addressed before we go to any other group and talk about any other group and even what they've done towards us. Because if you don't have any type of unity as you're moving as a collective, if you don't have any type of unity as a collective and to get to where you're trying to go, then we're just all individuals at that point. And then it's going to be discouraging. And how much can you really get? Because when you look at the numbers, when we're out and about in the country, we're the actual minority everywhere we go. There's a small amount of us in comparison to, yeah, you may go to some Black cities, you may be in some liberal environments, but for the most part, we're going to be the smallest group of people around. And so, how do you really move the needle culturally? How do you really move the needle in your best interest at all when you make up a small percentage? When you make up a small percentage of the entire society, how are you really pushing the needle? Especially if you're not attached to any real progression for the collective. Because the truth is, the collective must progress. The people that are close to you, genetically aligned with you, look like you, as a collective must progress, because these are the group of people that you have to go to when you need to borrow money. These are the group of people that can give you capital. These are the group of people that can give you support. This is the group of people where you're going to get your votes from. You have to understand the importance of community. And because we have such a separation from community, because we don't have any real unity in our collective, we don't think that that's important, but we see the collectivization of other communities. So we know that it really does matter at the end of the day. But we ourselves are very much so separated from that idea because we really don't have any true unity in the collective. Now, some might say, well, why we have all that pressure on ourselves versus other communities? Why don't other communities have that type of pressure on themselves? Why do us as Black people have that type of pressure on us? Well, we have a cultural identity. We really don't know who we are as the collective outside of what the American society has given us. We really don't have that. We don't have a real cultural identity, and we've suffered with it. Even, we've talked about this on the show with Rob J. 10X was saying, even as African American, that's not the correct term. That's a continent. The correct term would be Nigerian American or Kenyan American or whatever the case may be. It's not African American. We've taken on terms that don't even apply to us. So one again, and having this, we are very much so embarrassed of our true nature here in America. We're embarrassed of the real, cultural identity that we have here in the United States. We are embarrassed by that, but we need to really embrace it. We need to embrace it. So there's so many different issues that we can point to or we can look at when we're telling ourselves that we have a real issue here in this country as a people. But I'm going to tell you where it starts. The one place that it must start in the black community if we really want to see any real changes with men. It's going to change with men. We're having conversations about women as it pertains in relationships. But when we're talking about real leadership and what we must have in our black community, it's going to start with men. It's going to start with men. And we need our men to step up. There's too much softness. There's too much emotionality. there's too much crying and softness amongst men in our community, and we don't do well with tension. We don't do well with conflict resolution. I'm gonna give props. Let me also say this too. If I said anything on this channel and haven't given anybody props on it, forgive me for that, because I talk to so many people and there's so much ideology that I swap out. I've taken a lot of stuff from other people that have influenced me, and I've also shared it on this channel. Often I'm giving praise, but if I hadn't, forgive me. Tag yourself. At the end of the day, I believe in whatever the message is, and I'm pushing that because I think our people need it. But the person right now that has the biggest issue in our community is the black man. The black man is in shambles. The black man is in shambles because he doesn't really know how to operate in his full masculinity. He doesn't have any real resources. He doesn't have any real money. He doesn't even know how to get started in taking care of his family. He is probably by far the most subjugated person in America right now is the black man. However, he's utilized the most depending on what his talent is. He's a tool. He's never stopped being a tool. Once he got off the plantation and when he got into the civil rights era, he was used. From there, he's been an integration source to make money, play sports, be in entertainment. But what real capital, what real confidence has the black man had? And those that have had it usually have met some sort of demise. Those that have had real confidence usually have met some sort of demise if they were really going against the system. But one of the biggest issues with that is this. The biggest issue with that is simply that we as black men are not on the same page. We as black men are not on the same page. We as black men do not collectively come together with bravery, and fight against the things that's going to harm our community. We are very much so divided. We as a collective, as black men, are very much so divided. And we have the inferiority in when it comes to others. Many of us do. When you think about the new age black man, especially, and look at how he's been rendered and raised, um, he is very much so in lack of masculinity. He is very much so in lack of confidence, conflict resolution. He is very much so lacking in so many different areas because he hadn't really had a father. Many black men have not had fathers, and even the ones that have had fathers, their fathers didn't have fathers. So there's a lot of tendency there. The patriarchy does not survive in that lineage like that. Very rare. A lot of brothers just suffer with conflict resolution. So black men not coming together, black men not being brave, black men not being on the same page politically is going to be an issue for the entire community. Black men not wanting to come up with what the cultural install will look like for the community is going to be an issue. So you really got to fix the black man. Period. You have to fix the black man. I'm not talking about that right now. That has nothing to do with my message. LGBTQ has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And that's one of the problems right now when you talk about the Democratic Party is you want to go to so many other alternative lifestyles instead of dealing with what we're talking about right now. Because what I'm talking about is a cultural issue in a community that has suffered because they have no male leadership. I'm not talking about no alternative lifestyles. Why do y'all think that that's a civil rights issue? That is a personal in your room issue. You have all the rights to go to your room and do what you want to do. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to support it. I don't have to promote it. But I can't stop you from doing that. What happened to that world? What happened to the world where you do what you do in your bedroom and it's not my business to talk about or know about what you got going on in your bedroom? LGBTQ is not a part of normal society in terms of what we're teaching kids. That's why the country went the way it went. Y'all need to, yeah, hey, that's the primary reason. Nobody wants to say it. Everybody wants to dance around it. Now, because we're so in fear that we're going to be canceled by saying things like that. No, what I'm saying is you can totally do what you want to do in your bedroom, but at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with what we talking about with my message or silver. Somebody's always coming up with that. What does that have to do with anything? Am I LGBTQ supportive? I'm in support of do what you want to in your bedroom and it's not my business. That's what I'm in support of. I wish that would have stayed that way in the military. Don't ask, don't tell. It should have stayed like that. This is not where the message is going, but I got to talk about that because one of the things that has happened in the Democratic Party and this whole liberal mindset is that all these other groups need attention and black people have bought into that and put that in part of their movement. That we ain't got nothing to do with that. We don't have anything to do with white women getting jobs. We don't have anything to do with immigration. That has nothing to do with us. We don't have anything to do with LGBTQ. That has nothing to do with us. Everything that we need to be discussing as a people, everything that we need to be talking about as black people is specific to us. We have our own issues. That I'm passionate because our people are lost and behind. Our people are left in the dust. And ain't nobody gonna come get us and ain't nobody gonna save us unless we stand up and start being brave. And it's gonna start with the men. The men are gonna have to stand up and be brave in our community. When we talk about relationships and we do all of that, we're talking about women in terms of relationships because we've had issues with our women. We gotta talk to our women. We have to talk to our women because we have a relationship issue with them specifically, and it needs to be solved. And they have an issue with us. We're trying to maintain marriages and keep communities going. So unless we have the relationship conversation, it's going to be an issue. So that's why you're seeing a lot of ridiculing of women. But when we talk about the entire pie, man, it's the men that got to step up. The men have to step up and have to educate. The thing is, our women must accept that. Our women have to understand that male leadership will come back and must come back. Thank you, sister. Please like this and please share it and throw 50K in the chat. Subscribe to the channel because this is what you get here. By the way, every Friday 7:30, I do this live in the studio. You can check out my last video. Real dope, super dope. All the donations that we had gotten from the channel has helped propel us to a place like that, and we want to maintain that. But it's good for our people because I said that we need black media. We need specific black media talking like this outside of just rap, debauchery, and all of that. So we can start having the revolution is here. The revolution, all that is televised because this is a way for us to get programming out. So we need y'all, we need everybody here involved. But I'm here to break down the community and tell you why we're having all the conversations we're having. But at the end of the day, we need black men to step up. And until black men step up and black men get together and black men say what we're gonna do and get our women to fall in line, the community ain't going nowhere anyway. You've seen that through the results. Yes, black women are enrolled more. Yes, black women have certain accolades and certain stats that they're looking at and saying, yeah, that's good. But what's the real graduation rate? Where are we at financially? Where are we at on the totem pole? It hasn't moved a needle. Why? Because the men ain't stood up and did nothing. And not because we don't want to, because our men need direction. Our men need direction and a place to go. And we have to collectively be talking through here for us to get that. Because a lot of times, listen, I got this. I did get this from my I got this from Greatest American Alive. Shout out to him. I was on that podcast and he talked about Thomas Paine. We talked about this on the show, writing common sense, and that's how, essentially the and this is fact, you can fact check this, is what kind of, started the American Revolution. That's true, through media. Media is important. You need media. Through our media is how we connect with our people, and we put out programming. So we're gonna need that. But we gotta reach the man. And so when people ask me, are you supportive of this movement? No, I'm not, because I have watched a group of people that have not really gotten to where they needed to go in the country, when guess what? It's talking about, when you get Donald Trump up here talking about the 14th Amendment, when you start talking about constitutional law and how it's applied to us, and you start talking about the civil rights era and things like that, it's talking about us. But we're so discombobulated, we're so disconnected from where we were really supposed to be going. We can't have certain intellectual conversations about it. We put pan-African talk. We didn't put, we gonna be another nation. Then you got these guys talking about Moors and 5%er. Black people are so divided from the truth. We've allowed so much ignorant talk come in. It's ridiculous. So I'm tired of when I'm having a message like this and I came to talk and put it out there and get the information to the people, or whenever black people are collectivizing and saying that this is what we got going on and this is how we want to move forward, we going to always have somebody talking about LGBTQ and all other minorities and whatever else the case. No, we're not talking about that. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Let me help y'all understand something. All these rules, I'm going to say that again. All of these rules, Roe v. Wade, immigration, you name it, they've attached themselves to that 14th Amendment in some way. Look it up. They've argued on something that your ancestors fought for, that pertain to you, but because they said you're different, anything different is attached to it. Anything that's different is attached to it. How? How is anything that, so we had to fight to just be mentioned and declared human. Well, y'all human, but y'all a different type of human, or y'all are defected. So anything can just be attached to any fight and struggle that you had. Nah, man, that's a bunch of malarkey. So I don't get into this whole, do you support? Nah, I'm worried about black people, and right now we have a family crisis in America, in the black community. We have a family crisis. And the family crisis is so big. I'm sorry, Jasmine Crockett. I don't want to hear a damn thing you got to say, because all you're doing, you see, this is what I try. I got a post right now on TikTok, over 20,000 views, damn near 2,000 comments of people getting mad at me for checking Jasmine Crockett. And what I'm saying is, be quiet. You're a mascot for the liberals. But what do the liberals stand for? I'm not a right winger. I'm trying to get you as black people to wake up and understand you're being used, mainly our black women, to be mascots for things that's going to eat you up in the long run, because you got a family crisis. You don't need to be a part of gender affirming therapy, and you barely got a man. You don't need to be in any situation where you're encouraging the changing of men when you got a man issue. You don't need to be applauding that brother putting on a dress, because you have, guess what? You got a man issue. You got an issue with your man. You need your man to stand up and be a man, not cut his thing off. You're having an issue in your family. You got a family crisis, and you're supporting middle white class ideas, ideology. I just want to be a girl. I just want to be a boy. Whatever that is, that person is entitled to deal with it how they deal with it. But legislation of it, I'm against. Also, I'm against it because of the repercussions and results of it, but what it does to our community. We can't handle that. Look at our marriage rates. Look at our out of wedlock birth rates. Look at it. Why we can't afford to support anything else? We can't afford to support anything else. So when you get a Jasmine Crockett up there and you get all these other black women politicians that they use as mascots to get, oh yeah. Let me tell y'all, let me school y'all something about this too. And I really wish I had the TikTok audience in. I need to find, I'm gonna start getting them over here, but I just rather do this on YouTube. Let me tell you my issue with someone like a Jasmine Crockett. And this is not, I'm not bashing women. I'm giving an example on why we need black men to step up and be leaders again. I think that what Jasmine Crockett is doing is blackface. I think anybody doing that is blackface. Why would you say that that's blackface, Charm God? That ain't blackface. She not racist. Well, look at when media and cinema first came out, how they were projecting black people. When you look at step and fetch, when people say, well, you're stepping and fetching, well, do you really know what that is? Do you know what step and fetch is? Do you really have you seen media with them and with how they were acting and responding to white people and to each other? Yes, sir. Uh-huh. You know, that's a, I guess the way you pronounce it is caricature. It's hard for me to say that it might be a character. If I'm wrong, anybody, it's that it's talking about our personalities and what they assume that we act like. When you look at Big Mama or you look at the woman on Tom and Jerry, oh, get out that kitchen, Tom. That's what they think that we acted like and talk like the entire time, especially when we think about the characters that were raising white folk on the plantation. How y'all don't see that? When you don't know your history, you don't know where you going. When you don't know your history, you don't know where you going. When you don't know your history, you don't know where you going. Look at how they've historically looked at us. So when I see Jasmine Crockett getting up there, I think that that's stepping fetching. I think that that is Big Mama. That's what I think. I think that that's Big Mama. It's not professional. There's nothing professional about that. And what is she preaching and teaching on the on behind that? What are you teaching and preaching, and what are you supporting? Well, when we look at the liberal agenda, what are they supporting? What is the liberal agenda supporting when you have somebody up here talking like that, acting like that, going against? Listen, I'm not talking about when I said something about her. Well, you not getting on the white women, or you not getting. I'm not worried about them. We know what a lot of them stand for. I'm not worried about them. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about what do you stand for? What is she supporting? And where are the black men over in the Liberal Party that's representing the heterosexual black men? That's why when as soon as I got to talking about this, as soon as we start talking about civil rights, do you support LGBTQ? Wow. Okay, what do I need to do for you outside of you getting the legislation to get married? You can get married. You can have the relationship that you want to have. What else do I need to do for you? What do I need to support? If you're asking if I'm in agreement with your lifestyle, no, I'm not in agreement with your lifestyle because I'm a Christian. I believe in Christian values. I think that a conventional family works, and that's what I believe. That's what I personally believe in. I don't believe in you being persecuted. I don't believe in you being chastened or discriminated against. I think that whatever choice you make is between you and God. But if you're asking me if I support you in that magnitude, no. But do you have the right to go out here and live the life that you want? Yes. And also, I have the right to tell you that what you're talking about has nothing to do with civil rights. It was never intended for that, and we know that. So I need leaders that are coming in, especially when they want the black vote. Are you addressing the main black issue? And the main black issue that we are having is the family crisis. There is a family crisis in the black community. because there's an identity crisis in the man and in the woman. There's identity crisis, and we have to deal with that. And before I can talk about anything in immigration, I don't have time to be worried about immigration, especially knowing that everything that you're basing your argument on is based off of the backs of slaves. So the slaves were made whole in the country in terms of being a citizen, and you got this talk of, well, this used to be Mexico. I don't want to hear that. Used to be this Mexico. Well, it was. Look at our old map. Man, y'all better stop that. This is the United States of America. It don't belong to Mexico. And you as a black person need to know what you're entitled to. And I mean black in terms of descendants of slaves. So I don't have time to be attached to other movements. But black men have to stand up. And why would black men vote in the direction of their women? Because they feel like that's what they were supposed to be doing. And have we actually sat down as black men and black women and had the political dialogue needed? I've asked this over and over and over again. What has Jasmine Crockett done outside of run her mouth? What has she done? What do most of these people do? I forgot the lady name. I talked about her, but the bald-headed congresswoman. She's an Aquarius too. Shout out to the Aquarius season. So I'm gonna give her some love for that. She's a black woman. I forgot what state she's out of. Talking about she wants to censor people. Why would you want to do that? To me, it's more fascism. That's the other part too. We got our women over there supporting that because they're able to create lives for themselves. Our women have a level of selfishness we don't want to talk about. Ooh, girl, sister child, because that's what you want to do when you get up there and talk in front of the people up there. Flip your hair and bat them lashes. It's not an attack on her. I'm saying, like, okay, you want me to follow this party into damnation, but what are we following? Then when you go into the background of these people, now I don't know if Jasmine Crockett got a husband, but I haven't seen that she got one. Do she got kids? What happened to making family people congressmen? We want people that represent the community to be up there. And then even when we talking about black men, we want a real black man. Obama's not a real black man because Obama hasn't lived the real black experience. Same people that get up here and talk about what Drake is and what Drake ain't. You know what Drake is? You know what Drake has that Obama don't have? He has lineage to a real American black man. Drake has an experience and a genetic alignment with a real black man. Obama doesn't. Because people that are from Africa or other countries in Africa do not have the same cultural experience. That matters when you're talking about politics in America. That matters. That matters. If you are not in understanding in that, you're gonna be lost in the long run. You're gonna be lost. Hey, I want y'all to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, throw 50K in the chat. I'm thankful for y'all getting this little 30 minute. I'm gonna see y'all later. Hey, don't forget, every 7:30, every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard, we are here on this channel going live. This Friday, we taking activity. If you want to call in, if you want to message, whatever the case may be, we're gonna be live in the studio. Streaming. Looks great too. I want y'all a part of it. Y'all need to be there. I love y'all. Peace.